from Benetrends. Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.
Guys, as we start to work together, you will know that I love for you to have a conversation with Wendy kind of early on in the process. You haven't probably totally even committed to buying a business, right? You're still kind of going, what the heck, but this seems kind of interesting, and I'm at least a little more than curious. Usually Wendy, I'll say, have a conversation with her. Lay your cards on the table to at least get an understanding of not only do you have options to fund, because you have way more options, I think, than most people understand, but also to give them an understanding of where their ceiling is. And I mean, we all know I'm Midwest conservative, so I'm very much like, do not go into business undercapitalized. It is death. Keep your cash, always, start a little smaller and then grow from there, and never, ever want anyone pretty much blowing all of their money on anything, right? Just always be conservative. But talk a little bit about how you can work with someone before they even know if they're going to do this. Why does it still make sense? And why are you still even willing truly to have a conversation with them? And what do they need?
It's my pleasure, and thank you, Lisa. I always think of buying a business. The first thing you should do is figure out your budget, and think of it like buying a house. One of the other most important purchases in a lifetime. You're not going to go to the real estate agent before you fully understand what kind of mortgage, if you need a mortgage, what kind of mortgage you're going to need. And that real estate agent isn't going to take you around to show you the neighborhoods without understanding proof of funds. Yeah. And because it's helping that, just like it's helping you understand what are the boundaries, what are the limitations, or in some cases, somebody might think they can only afford one franchise, but maybe they could be on a trajectory to be a multi-unit owner. So right. I think it's really important early on to have a non-committal, non-evasive search on what makes sense. Let me do the analysis. It's my pleasure. I have a conversation with your client. I send them some information to fill out. It's all confidential. They run their credit for me, so there's no hard inquiry on the credit. Based on that information, I can get and I don't need proof of anything. I'm basing it on the information that's provided. I don't need bank statements, tax returns, paycheck stubs. So I always tell folks there's no skin in the game. Right. The most annoying thing is you have to deal with my accent, right? Otherwise, we're just going to go through. It's like stepping on the scale. We don't want to do it, but if we want to know the true picture, boy, the doctor's going to have us step on that scale. So let's figure out what your options are. And even if you don't want an SBA loan, maybe you don't need a loan, or maybe there's other options. Let's have all of those ideas figured out early on. I think it really helps in your journey when somebody, after they spoke with me, can go to you and say, oh, I know I can afford $1 million. I don't feel comfortable with $1 million. Right. So let's start at 500, but at least I feel comfortable. Here's my 3 different strategies to fund it. I just need to decide which way I'm going. That's my goal. And I had a call today. It was actually with one of your clients where she made it very clear, she didn't want to waste my time. She was so lovely and really wanted to get an understanding of business funding. And she wants to look at brands with you, but she's transitioned out of her job. She doesn't want to commit.
Right.
I tell folks, we're fact finding. It's education. A lot of folks who have not owned a business before do not know this crazy world we live of franchising and franchise funding. Folks don't know they can use the retirement funds. They don't know maybe they could use home equity. And I don't have home equity, but my goal is to open that door for all those options, but also to get a realistic picture. So the reason why I emphasize folks talk to me early on, I know if you show me the McMansion first, and I find out after that I can't afford it. So you're showing me like a, little bungalow, right? Yeah. I'm bummed. And that bungalow is not getting the light it deserves, right? Because we just weren't realistic. So I think it's a really good idea. Learn what your options are. It's all confidential, no obligation, no hit to your credit. Boy, I want to know what my bandwidth is. And again, clients get pre-qualified for numbers that they would never feel comfortable using. That's fine. We're just fact finding. And sometimes it's more than one call, and I'm fine with that. We can jump on a follow-up Zoom. You want your attorney or CPA, because I know it's a big decision. Know that this education isn't just like a one and done call at no cost. Again, we kind of go through everything and just want to help equip your clients, when they are starting to look at brands, to feel really comfortable how they would fund it.
Well, and thank you. I mean, I think that's part of it. If you are watching this video, chances are you're early in the process, or some of you, we haven't even talked yet, right? So I think it's important to know that that's what all of this is. It's becoming educated on something that possibly you didn't even know existed. I mean, 90% of the people that I've worked with are coming from corporate America. They're coming from a W-2 position. And like you said, there's this whole other world of franchising. We speak a different language. We follow a different set of regulations and rules. And learning about the funding options is part of that. It's checking a box of making sure that you are the educated consumer. Nobody's going to twist your arm into accidentally buying a business. It doesn't happen. So I really appreciate that. And thank you. Thanks for taking the time. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons we work really well together, because I think we're both like, just learn. At least even learning what you're going to say no to. It's more important to be fully educated. I have so many people I've talked to, introduced to you, that have said, I'm not touching my 401k. I'm not touching my retirement. That's in this magic sealed vault. And it's okay. I'm not saying that you have to. You are fine. We can just go get a loan. You can use your liquidity and not touch the vault. But don't you at least want to learn that why it's out there? Like, what are people doing to use it that it might be at least worth knowing about? It's just education. And I think, a handful of times people have said, oh yeah, I didn't know that part. It's like,
And, realizing you're not cashing out, realizing there's a plethora of options that you can do in combination. It's just, like you said, it's the education of it all. And I think too, we've been trained to think that our 401k is our retirement, right? But I mean, I know for me, every cent I have is considered retirement. My house, my equity, my cash in the bank, my savings. And I think sometimes just kind of thinking about it a different way, because we have been trained, myself included. And a lot of times after a call and folks really start to realize, oh yeah, why would I want to, use my post-tax dollars when I could use pre-tax dollars? Or why would I want to start looking at brands when I don't have a plan? So once you start learning and having the conversation, I think I just think it puts more tools in everybody's toolkit.
Right. It's another option of diversification. It's okay, I have this and I have this, and now I'm transferring an asset from this 401k to my own business. It's a transfer of money. It's not necessarily, you're not spending it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And not having something to show for it. That business is an asset. You're
exactly right.
So thank you so much. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Lisa.